Welcome to Switch Comics. My name is Marco, and this week we will be talking about my favorite comics that I read in 2021. Now before we get into it, let me quickly remind you, at 600 subscribers I will be giving away... But Marco, you've already hit 600 subscribers. Oh, you're right, me. So actually, we've already hit 600 subscribers, and I would like to thank each and every one of you for the support. It's been, this year is starting off as a banger. I love each and every one of y'all that have been showing me support. And just to let you all know, in case you didn't watch the Wednesday live stream, make sure you get your comments in. Because again, every comment on a different video will give you another chance to enter into the giveaway for these 3 awesome comics. I will be announcing the winner, and you have until this time. I'll be announcing the winner on our Wednesday live stream at 8, well, not exactly on the dot at 8 p.m. That's when this live stream starts. Who knows when I'm going to say the winners, but somewhere in the live stream this Wednesday, I'll be picking the winners live. So you have until then to get your comments in so you can win one of these 3 awesome books. It should be a very poppin' live stream, hopefully. Last live stream was pretty exciting, had a lot of people show up, and this one should be pretty exciting. We have a really big Lego build, the biggest one we've ever done so far. And yeah, we're going to be hanging out. I'm going to be picking the winners, and all that funness will be happening. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about some comics. So, this will be a top 10 list, kind of like my top 10 covers. So we're going to start off with number 10 of my favorite comics that I read in 2021, starting with the Taskmaster 5-part miniseries. Now, squeezing a few rules here because this series technically started in 2020. However, it's a 5-part miniseries, and 3 of the issues were in 2021, so it's mostly kind of a 2021 run. This run is absolutely incredible, and where I fell in love with writer Jed MacKay. I can't recommend this miniseries enough. I think starting off from issue number 1, it is just this roller coaster of action and goofiness, and a lot of... It's really funny. It's just like a good fun time. And I hope one day that Jed MacKay will get a chance to revisit Taskmaster, because this 5-issue series was not enough. It was great, don't get me wrong, I loved it. Honestly, one of my favorite first issues I've probably ever read of any book. It's super good. I think it kind of reshapes Taskmaster in this way where he is this super skilled man. But again, like, that's always been his thing. He's just doing stuff for money. He's not really out here trying to take over the world or do anything necessarily heinous. He's just a guy that gets hired for jobs, and he kind of enjoys one-upping people, you know? And but this is a bit different in this series because it does kind of go back and puts him in a predicament that he doesn't want to be in. He's not a fearless man. He's a man that very well knows, you know, he's the top of his abilities, and beyond that, you know, in this universe exists gods and all kinds of crazy things, and he knows his place in the Marvel universe, and he's not wanting to test it, and then in that way it is very enjoyable, and I don't know, I really can't stress this enough. I know a lot of people weren't reading this series when it came out. And that's part of why the issue number 3, which is first appearance of Taiguchi, probably saying his name wrong, end up being kind of a pretty hot book, and especially that 1 in 25, is because there wasn't a lot of people picking it up, so the print run was pretty low. So I do suggest people go back, and especially if you've been reading some of Jed MacKay's newer work that I think he's been getting increasingly more popular, definitely go back and check out this one. It's an amazing series. So now, moving on to number 9 on the list, I believe this one also started in 2020, but it went throughout, you know, 2021, and actually just recently ended. We have, surprise, surprise, Jed MacKay's Black Cat. So again, after reading, actually, I don't think I picked this up because it was Jed MacKay. I think I picked it up because I was reading all the King in Black stuff, and I ended up reading it because of that, and I ended up really liking it. And it's like, I think I will continue this run. I don't think I was head over heels for Jed MacKay at the time yet. I think I was just after the King in Black stuff, because it started in the King in Black event, and I was like, yeah, I think I'll continue this. It's pretty good. So I kept going with the series, and man, I'm in love with it. It is super solid. I think the ending in Giant Size Black Cat is just a phenomenal ending. And I know pretty soon there will be Black Cat and Mary Jane, or it might be the other way around, Mary Jane and Black Cat. I don't remember the title name. Anyway, and I'm excited for that and hoping that will spawn a possibility for Jed MacKay to continue writing for Black Cat, because as good as that series was and as well wrapped up as it felt, I'll take some more. I'll gladly take some more. I particularly thought with Black Cat and the Infinite Destiny storyline that started wrapping around through everything, and if you don't know about that, instead the Infinity Gems are now not really gems; they've been destroyed, but the power is reborn into different people, and their powers are all amplified and everything. So she's collecting these Infinity Peoples. As I don't know if that's the proper term, but that's the term that I use. But like Black Cat's very small time. It's like, what is the reasoning? You don't find out until the Black Cat Giant Size, and it's a pretty good payoff. I really enjoyed this run of Black Cat, and I count the Giant Size and all the Infinite Destiny tie-ins, and I'm going to count all that within the Black Cat story, because more or less that's what it's all about. And then, not a Geiger one, so on for number, what would this be? Oh, number 8. Counting backwards is hard. We have Geiger. And this is a series I think I solely picked up just because I was like, look at that cool cover. That's pretty fun. And it continued and just every issue has just incredible covers. So many amazing covers I love. And Geiger hasn't come out for a while, which I don't know if they will be doing more Geiger. I know they're planning on doing like a Geiger-verse type thing, where, there's going to be like a lot of interconnected stories or something. It was what it seems like anyway. But basically this is a story of the glowing man, the radioactive man. This is what he looks like. But they call him the glowing man, or Geiger. And it's a typical it's not nothing too crazy as far as the story goes. It's, apocalypse setting, nukes have ravaged the earth. You can't go in certain areas because of the radiation and everything, but except for, you can't just have nukes in a comic book story without it amplifying one man. And so we have the glowing man, which I guess I should have grabbed another cover because his design is super cool, and that's where the story isn't anything super crazy, anything that I haven't heard in some way 1,000 times already, but it is super fun, and I enjoy reading every issue of Geiger. I can't wait for them to do more. I can't wait for the rest of the expanded universe and all that. I'm all in. I'm excited just to have fun with these stories. The man has like this two-headed, is it two-headed or three-headed dog? I think it's a two-headed dog. I don't know. It's been a while. Like I said, it's been a while since one came out, but like I said, it's weird because I feel like I'm downselling it when I explain. It's like, the story's whatever, but it is, it's just an end of the world apocalypse, not end of the world, but an apocalypse where the world's been ravaged, and then you have this lone hero with a sad backstory, and he's not really trying to be a hero, but people keep messing with him. They always got to mess with the dangerous guy that's just trying to mind his own business. Again, fairly cliche stuff, but it's just super fun. It is an absolute blast, and I thoroughly enjoy Geiger. It is a great read, and I can't wait, like I said, for more from that universe. Then moving on to number 6. Wait a minute. This would have been 10. Yeah, 9, 8. So this is 7. I'm sorry. Why am I struggling so bad? Number 7, we have Moon Knight, and the return of Jed MacKay, 3rd time on the list. Am I a little biased? I don't know. Maybe, but I think Jed MacKay's been putting out incredible work. I didn't include everything he's been doing, okay? I don't think. I didn't include Magic the Gathering because I haven't read it. But Moon Knight has been just an absolutely awesome series. My brother is a big fan of Moon Knight, a big fan of Moon Knight. And he always has been. It's been one of his favorite characters for as long as I can remember. But and I've always liked Moon Knight, but like I said, my brothers loved Moon Knight. But now I feel like I'm really starting to love Moon Knight with this new series. We're on issue 6, I think was the last one now. And the art is incredible. Especially, I feel like the first issue probably has the best art. The art throughout is really good, and the art in number 6 is really good as well. And like I said, throughout the other issues, they're really good as well. But I remember the first issue being exceptional. The story's been really good. I love the way they're kind of going through his psyche, but also there's a bit of action, and there's a good bit of non-action, I would say, in the Moon Knight series, where in place of a fight, Moon Knight's just like, try me. There's one guy, I won't spoil too much of it, but there's at one point, I think in the 3rd issue or so, someone's like, I'm going to take over your mind. And he's like, go ahead, hop in there, have fun. Have fun in my deranged mind. And it doesn't end well for him. So there's certain unexpected battles, we'll say, where it is kind of, in a way, kind of anticlimactic, but it works for Moon Knight. And I've really enjoyed it, and I look forward to each and every issue. It's a series that, with any series, the number 1 always sells a whole bunch, and then it tapers out as it goes on. We order a lot at the shop that I work at, Pops Comics. We order a lot of Moon Knight, and we sell out every time. And, I don't order insane amounts, but, we order pretty high amounts compared to the other stuff that we order. And, other stuff, we'll order extra, just a few extra, and sometimes we don't sell any of those extra copies because we have our pull list, and then we have, some we put on the shelf. And all of our copies, the extra copies that we end up putting on the shelf, always end up gone. And again, 6 issues in, I know that's not super far in, but compared to the other series that I've watched kind of dissipate in interest, Moon Knight, and I put, there's a reason I put it in my titles and thumbnails, is because there's a lot of interest in Moon Knight right now. Obviously, he has a show coming up as well, so that's generating a lot of buzz, but his series is also just incredible, and I can't recommend it enough. And then, at our number 6 spot, before we get into it, let me reiterate, please join us for our Wednesday live streams, and that doesn't include just this next one, which is going to be a big one, but every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we have a live stream. We build Legos, talk about comics, have some fun. Be there. It's easy to do, right? I understand if you can. I understand you can. But anyway, on to number 6, we have Dark Ages. And this was a series that, funnily enough, I didn't think I picked up. I somehow did pick up this first issue, and it got lost in, I don't know how, my other just random comics that I haven't read. Ended up picking a second printing of number 1 and read that and fell in love, and then later on found that I did have the first printing. So it was a comic I was kind of on the fence about, and I think that's why I thought I didn't pick it up, because I was very back and forth. I thought the art looked really cool, on the covers and stuff that they showed. I was like, yeah, that looks pretty interesting. And then when I read the descriptions, which, you don't want to reveal everything in the descriptions, but it was the world is in darkness, and apocalypse wages a new thread, and blah 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 blah, and it's just I don't know, it just seems so generic, and here's another end of the world type thing. But what Dark Ages really has going for it is the fact that it is just its own alternate universe tale. It is a what if in a way, and basically the premise of it is it's kind of convoluted and complicated, but I don't even remember now. That part doesn't even really matter. How it does get set up, the rest, the story itself is so good. The what's happening is more important than the how it happened, or why it happened, I guess, or how it got set up. I don't know. Anyway, so there's basically a giant EMP. There's a big villain in the middle of the earth, and to stop him, they have to set off this crazy EMP. But it EMPs the whole earth for forever. So, there is no electricity. You cannot create electricity. And you're in this weird time where a lot of, everyone is advanced in their technology and ideas, but alas, there's no electricity. And so how do you make this work? And the world has fallen into a state of chaos, and, there's a big problem with vampires and werewolves and all these kind of monsters and stuff. There's a lot of just fighting that breaks loose between just everyone and countries and heroes and villains and all this, until suddenly it kind of almost has like a zombie apocalypse type. Well, now we have to, reform our society, or not just full society, but like there's separate little like villages and stuff like that, and areas that are its own place. They don't really have contact with other places, and so you get this kind of again, a kind of apocalypse type dark reality, where, like I said, it does have like this zombie type of mentality, I guess. Zombie survivor mentality, anyway. Got a mustache hair in my mouth. But I love that this story allows itself to be so dark. I know that's in the title, but the themes of it, and they kill off characters, and even though, yes, we know that those characters are safe in the mainstream continuity, in this reality you feel the death and the weight that it bears on these other characters. And it is by Tom Taylor, by the way, good writer. I know he's written some Star Wars stuff before, but other than that, like I said, you feel these characters are right there at the edge, and it does feel like, I don't know, watching The Walking Dead or something, and you're hoping these characters make it, and when they die, they are dead. In this series, it matters in this series, even though it's just a 6-part miniseries. You're hoping for the best outcome, and what also is really interesting about this is they keep saying, it's funny because in the previews they talked up a lot about Apocalypse and how he's got something going on. We're 4 issues into this series already and don't really know what he's doing. We know that something is coming from him, and he's up to some thing that's gonna, part of it is he has, in his area, again, because the world's separated in domains, like Apocalypse's domain is not an area you want to be in, which is established. But as far as like his big scheme that he's got going on, we're left in the dark. And I like this mystery that it builds up, and I genuinely don't know if the heroes are going to be able to stop him, or if they do stop him, how many casualties are going to be in that process. So those are my bottom 10 on my 10 through 6. Bottom 10 sounds negative, but my 10 through 6 on my favorite books of 2021. Check out my video coming out this Sunday, which will be 5 through 1. So my top 5 comics of 2021. And it was, again, a hard list to make. I feel like this was a little bit easier of a list than the covers. The covers list was so hard for me to do. I thought about that one for so long. This one, don't get me wrong, was difficult, but it felt like a breeze after I did the cover one. But yeah, I'd love to know what you thought about, the comics that came out in 2021. Were any of the books that I picked, would those have made your list? Or, obviously, you don't know my top 5, so you gotta wait and find out. I like teasing y'all. But, regardless, I'd love to hear about your favorite books of 2021, whether this or something else, or whether you read some of the stuff that's on this list and you hated it, or you absolutely loved it and you agree. Tell me all about it in the comments. And other than that, that's all I got for you. So I will see you next time.